So welcome to the intro webinar for Soul Contract Reading Training Level 2. The purpose of this is just to give you an idea of what the workshop's about and answer any questions you have about the whole thing, really, and just so you get a bit of a transmission of it. So maybe we'll start with what's brought you here? What's your intention with this? Because then I can just mold it around what you guys need.
Well, I've found a lot of people want to know how their married names are affecting their birth name. And also I've seen some people that would like to change their name. I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah. People tend to know when the names doesn't fit. There's a sort of uncomfortable feeling in them that something's not right, or they just literally say, I just hate that name. Totally.
One person has 8/8 in both karmas. She didn't know that, but she was acting like she was experiencing the effects.
Yeah. And well, we cover name optimization as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Not quite. We cover that.
So we'll be able to optimize a person's name, or if they
we'll teach you all the principles of that, and we'll actually do someone live. I think one of the practitioners coming does want her name done for real. We tend to do at least one person live, so you get to see the whole thing really in action, the very whole fluid, feminine process. So, and it's the next logical progression from a birth chart reading. People want to know, well, what about my husband and my kids who are driving me mad, and the whole 9 yards, everything. When they realize how accurate this is, and that's the next question that's always asked.
If I have another question, if someone wants to, my middle name works better if I use it, but do I have to actually use it verbally and tell people that's my name?
If it's optimal, if it's an optimal name, you need to introduce yourself as, Sharon XXX Underwood or whatever you decide. But common usage is fine, just to be called Sharon. But actually, introductions and writing needs to be the full name. Then the energy kicks in, because optimizing a name can completely change someone's life. I had this amazing email just about an hour before this for one of the practitioners who optimized her name, where she'd been under the boulder of a 21-3, and crushed, literally. Even her 2-year-old wouldn't listen to her. Crushed. This is a highly intelligent, well-trained practitioner, and she said to me 9 months later, my life has totally changed. It's the best it's ever been. I'm in charge, and it's happening the way I want it to happen. Basically, that's the essence of what she was saying, and it's so much easier. It's totally changed her life. So it's like an awakening having name optimization. It's sort of high-speed enlightenment, really, if you get it right.
I had one client who has a lot of problems, and her married name and her nickname have 9s across from her 22-4. But Antigone said that the name was too short and didn't have enough frequencies in it. Yeah,
that'll be too limiting.
Too limiting, even though the 22-4 were paired with 9s. I thought, well, this woman is having way too many problems for this to be working.
Yeah, she's in a box having a too short a name.
Yeah.
So you need to look at the whole context, see what we teach the whole flow of people's names through time chronologically. Then you can see your whole pattern. It's called pattern recognition. And basically you see how the soul has evolved them through time, because it's programmed in specific relationships to trigger at certain times. And we look at those patterns to see how it has grown, how it has grown them.
So you want to see, it might be working, although the person might be having a lot of difficulty, it still might be.
Yeah, you have to look at it. You'd have to look specifically at the case.
Okay.
But we tend to look at the patterns over time to see what it's doing, what's challenging and what's flowing, and what are common patterns that repeat through different names they use and relationships they have. Then you can show them how much more information of where their soul wants to take them, because the mirror of relationships is basically the most powerful learning process we have, and that's the thing that is very much in the forefront of conscious people nowadays. How do I improve my relationships? How do I live more consciously? How do I understand my kids? How do I manage my sleepy husband or whatever? I had a client earlier today, and she said, "My husband's meditating, Nicholas," because she started introducing things, and I had shown her how he had 11 twos, two of them, so it took a while to get new concepts.
Oh.
But he actually took him a few weeks, and he got it, and she can't believe it, and he's waking up. So she's really happy.
Wow.
As a result, because she
Who
understands.
changed her name? He did, or she did?
Well, no, just understanding his overlay effect and her effect on him.
So he wasn't totally asleep. He actually listened to what she said.
The name hadn't been changed, but it was understanding the overlay effects of what her names were doing. That we found a way to help him wake up. You see, so that was interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Before we go any deeper, let's just see where Sarah is. If you're okay now.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just here to hear whatever you two have to say and ask. I won't be taking this year, but I'm interested in what it entails. That's all, just general interest.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's go and take a look at the presentation here. So basically this level 2 is all about helping people create better relationships, okay, with others and also with themselves, okay. So let's just get into this. So I'm making this for the other guys who can't make it as well. So in terms of, are you ready for this next step, it's really important to have it done at least 5 birth chart readings so you've got a good handle on the essence of all the 22 numbers. And if you got that, then you're ready for this, because this essentially is not just the learning about relationships and name overlays, okay, of your own names. It's about the second bodily transmission of the work. I noticed you asked a question on the Soul Contract Facebook group, Sarah, how to get more information. Your force needs information, but actually it's more transmission. So this basically activates your knowledge of the numbers at a deeper level without you having to try and read it all. Same as level 1, just takes you to another level. That's my answer to your question. So it's a second major transmission of the work. Okay, you could sit in the energy for 4 days and you get it, even though I didn't say anything. But this is actually how the soul contract work is really taught. Someone else has joined us. Hang on. Who's this? Hang on. Just going to see who this is. Just a minute. Or is it just the system just fooling me? Yeah. Can't seem to. Okay, if you've just joined us, can you message me on the chat and Zoom? I can't promote you for some reason to be a panelist. Hopefully you can hear me anyway. So second major transmission to give you the knowledge. It's activation in your DNA again and in your fields of what the numbers really mean. And the other thing about doing this is because you want to offer relationship and name overlays, because people do want to create better relationships. So most of us, it's our biggest challenge after our dealing with our own individual soul contract, which is more than enough usually. I sometimes wonder how humans get anything done down here, because it's so challenging just being in a body. So what we're going to do here is that, talking about what we started with before, Sharon, is we're going to spend a lot of time talking about how to use overlay charts to understand the impact of name changes in relationships throughout a client's lifetime on their birth chart. And so we look at the overlay effects of each of the 22 letters. So we're going to talk about what are the generic effects of each letter, and how do they affect the birth chart yourself or of someone else if you're in a relationship. And then we have this energy pattern recognition here. Okay, through a series of overlays. And then that's where we're looking for common patterns, which will turn up in relationships. Now, initial relationships are usually very challenging because it's like karmic, really. Just going to clear my throat again. Sorry about that. They're very karmic because they are creating a negative context, often of disempowerment or some denial of some positive quality we're here to come into. And then, and if we work through it, if we don't work through it, they keep repeating. And if we do work through it, then the relationships gradually change for the better. So what we're looking at is what is the flow of energy between the different overlay energies of different names and people we've been exposed to place into perspective past, present, and relationship experience. Because most of us are thinking, well, that was a train wreck of a first marriage. What was that for? Why did I waste 8 years of my life in this abusive relationship? And then if you help a client look deeper and you show them, okay, this was about you claiming your power relative to masculine, drawing a line in the sand and claiming your power and standing up for yourself and divorcing him. And that was probably the biggest challenge of your life, and you feel much more empowered. And your client, she'll say, it's very true. I would never have got to this point unless he'd been, charging at me, trying to basically kill me energetically or physically. Okay. So people see why that was there, and there was a reason, and they can step out of being a victim and say, I claim my power, and it would have never have happened unless he'd done what he did. Okay. All right. And then what it enables you to do is to mentor a client to discover and connect with and manifest their soul destiny and deliver their gift of service to the world, because each relationship and each name they have is giving them specific sets of frequencies that are infusing into their birth chart to trigger and help them grow in different ways, which they couldn't do just by themselves. So that's why those in relationship and have different names, we grow a lot faster. You grow a lot faster. Hi, Jesse. You've turned up now. Come and join us. Okay. If you want to just, and Jesse, can I unmute you? Yeah. Can you hear me, Jesse? Take a minute. Can you hear me, Jesse? Microphone's working from mine. Ah, I can hear something then. Can you hear me? You have to get your... Sounds a bit robotic. I'm not sure what's happening. You might need to get closer to your internet router, okay?
Yep.
Because
okay.
Is that you, Jesse? You've gone again. Yeah. I'll just switch on your video when you're ready, okay? And you can message me on the chat at the bottom of Zoom, okay? I'll just keep going, I think. Okay, so basically you can show with the different relationship names that people have and different names they've used, how it helps them.
Can you hear?
It's very robotic at this end. You need a hardwired internet connection. Okay, she'll come back. All right. So basically you can show how each relationship helps someone grow in different ways, in essence, and each different name they have helps them grow in specific ways, and you can see over time how they evolve, and it explains to people. Most people have this idea that marriage should be forever, okay, and what happens is that you show them that relationships have a certain lifetime, and then it's done, and it's time for something else. Can you hear me now, Jesse?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay, can you turn your video on?
Actually, I can't right now.
You can't? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the main thing, you got your kids there, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear them. Okay. As long as you can hear us. Okay. So welcome, Jessie. This is Sarah and Sharon. This is Jessie.
Hi.
Jessie's in Colorado. Sarah is in New York, and Sharon is in the boondocks of Canada somewhere, aren't you, Sharon? Yeah. Was it BC, isn't it? You're in BC?
No, it's in Southern Ontario, so it's not the boondocks. I've been in the boondocks.
Okay, Southern Ontario. Okay. So,
Yeah.
so welcome, Jessie. We're just going through this here. Zoom took a little while to plug you in. Sorry about the delay. So basically, you can show how someone moves through with their different relationships, how they grow. Okay, and that's the main part of what you learn in level 2, and that adds in a lot of richness and it adds very deep themes. Actually, Jessie, if you could just mute while you're listening, okay? Because I can hear the kids a bit.
Okay.
Thanks. It helps show them how they're growing over time. Right, that's the main thing, and they can see there's a reason for everything, and that some things end, and then there's a good reason for it, and some new things happen as a result of that. So there's usually like 2 or 3 major themes that you can see through time over many decades of someone's life, and it's those themes which we talk a lot about because that adds a greater, a deeper level of richness about what this work is about. Because you have the birth chart, you're all trained in that. Once you get this relationship stuff, it makes it more 3-dimensional. It shows the client that there's a logic and reason for the way life is unfolded over time. All right, and brings more peace as a result because they say, there was a reason for the 3 wives who I divorced, or husbands, or whatever. Okay, so do you like my new flower of life? I just thought I'd go for something more colourful and less dark. So, and the overlays are layers of icing on the cake. So you guys have learned how to understand what a birth chart is, with its 7 aspects here. But when you have a new name, a different name like your current name, or partner's birth name, or mother's birth name, these are like layers of icing that infuse into this cake. Okay, and they change and help it grow in different ways. All right, and that's where the spice of life comes in, because you have lots of people you're in a relationship with, so there's lots of different icing flavors coming into you. All right, and the way that works is like this. Going to come down to here. Is that if you have 2 people's birth names like this, this person here infusing into this person here, what's happening is that the energies are going from adjacent aspect to adjacent aspect like this. Okay, and then also coming into this, what we call talent gateway, coming up into the adjacent karma and goals. And that's having a positive, negative, or minimal effect, depending on the relative power, quality, and consciousness of the numbers. So we talk a lot about this. And this really explains the deepest underlying relationship dynamics that drives the way people interact with each other. Most, say, books on relationships talk about the personality ego stuff, why things happen, based on a lot of research and laboratory work and experience, which is all well and good. But with this work, you get down to what is the core soul interaction that's creating it all. And then it also talks about, well, what can you do about it? Or first, can you do something about it? And if so, what can you do about it? Okay, because in some cases, some things are too far gone. You can't do anything about it. All right, that's why people get divorced, because it's not possible to resolve some issues unless they become both enlightened, which is not likely. You might get close, but it takes a lot. Feel free to ask any questions if you like as we go through here. And we get to the name optimization we talked about before, Sharon, because when you look at the flow of energy through someone's life over time, then you can see the energies that they are trying to work with, where they want to head to. And once you do that, you can see what frequencies do they need in that optimal name. Like if you see someone who has You know, they had 3 wives and there were 3 13-4s in different positions in the wife's chart. That's telling you they probably want a 13-4, divine feminine, in an optimal name. Gives you a lot of hints because the optimal name will be a natural growth based on what they've been going through. Okay, and optimizing the name means that you 24/7 have the right frequencies coming into your energy field, into your birth name. So it helps you work through the karmic issues, achieve goals, activate talents, manifest a soul destiny and gift of service, and maximize potential in life. See, so I'll show you mine. Hang on, where's my one gone? I optimized my name about 10, 11 years ago. And my life totally changed as a result of doing that. I'll put it over
What was it before?
I'll show you. It was Nicholas Guynan. That was my birth name. Guy was my father's name, first
And
name.
how long did it take to affect you?
Depends how heavy duty your karma is. It's not, and how much you already worked through. It's not same time period, okay? Some people, it accelerates really quickly. Others, it's a lot slower. It just depends on how far you've progressed. Okay, so here we go. So the software is designed to handle all these overlay names. So this is my birth name, and this is my optimal name here. Okay, I'm just checking if anyone else is wanting to join us here. We're okay. So this is me being unworthy to show myself, very shy. This was very negative. This was very much emotional suppression. Ungrounded, not wanting to connect with people, hiding away from society, feeling like a victim, very disempowered. 22/4, that was working most of the time. Very versatile, connected to source, could share whatever I needed to share. Not trusting in the flow. Again, very disempowered. So life was very, very difficult and fraught for me most of my life. And then what happened was that Amir and I have been looking for our optimal name for me for a couple of years. I tried all the weird Hebrew names, all the very long ones with T's and Z's, and none of them worked. And the only one we hadn't tried was this one, which is about the plainest Hebrew name as you're going to get. And a client wrote to me twice in 2 weeks and called me that, Dear David. And the second time he wrote it, I thought, I think this is a hint from the universe. So we went and tried it, and it came up with this. And we thought, oh, that's quite elegant, actually. Because when you ask for this, it will come. So this name here, this 7, helped me bring myself out of hiding, attract like-minded people, brought the divine feminine into my life, and my nemesis was my mother, because I had this massive separation when you go from the divine feminine, because I was meant to reconnect with it. And so this strong positive quality came in. So the parent we have the greatest challenge with is the parent's quality that we're to embody. How's that for God having a joke? Okay. So God's got a very good sense of humor. And this 22/4, but being very versatile, came up front. And the 4 is about bringing the flow of knowledge and people to me. And then my spirit thought, okay, we'll ground him so he can feel his pain, work his way through his disempowerment, because I've been out of my body most of my life. And we'll ground his ability to share knowledge. But we'll make him a pioneer on the cutting edge. I've got much more sensitive since I had this 5. I can sense subtle energies much more so than I ever used to. And then they said, okay, he can keep a couple of 9s, keep a couple of dragons, just so he can maintain enough power out in the world. Okay, so effectively I've got 6 9s running here altogether. So this name is attracted to me all the good things in life. Help me feel my way through all the disempowerment here and really reach people in a loving way. Although my dragon comes out occasionally, it may not be quite as loving as I'd like. My shadow comes out. He still gets annoyed sometimes. But this has worked very well. And so I teach you the process of how to get to this, because the name is in the client already. It's just about you and the client co-creating it and uncovering what already exists. And when a client gets to that name, they feel Oh, Sarah, that's it. That's me. Like the soul sort of is sort of like this pulse from the soul. It's feeling of rightness, and that will completely change someone's life. And well, this client I said to you about 9 months ago, last year, her life's radically changed. So to answer your question, Sharon, it can be less than a year. It can be months. Massive change happens. Depends on the person, really.
I have another question. So if a person has already say a woman got married and
Yeah.
she has her married name and she changes it
Yeah.
for an overlay, is the previous, are all three names working?
You just don't get any more of the previous name, but the imprint of it is still in you. It just stays there.
The birth certificate name.
Yeah, the birth certificate name is always, this is the
Yeah.
primary name that creates your life.
Okay, so the second name is gone, and then now you have the new overlay name, and that's
Yeah. You just don't get any more of the previous overlay name because you're not using the frequency anymore, but it's still sitting in your energy fields in your body.
Oh.
It's still having residual effect. But it got you to a certain stage. It's like one of those rockets, multi-stage rockets. It gets you to a certain stage, then you have to have a new booster, which is a new name.
Oh, okay. So it's still in the field, and gradually its effect is lessened and lessened.
Yeah, it's not as active as it was.
Okay.
Yeah, but we talk about the subtleties of that on the training. There's quite a bit to that.
Makes sense.
I have a question, Nicholas. Yeah. You always have used that analogy of the birth name being like the cake and the current name being like the icing that adds a flavoring. And yet it can make such a massive difference in your life to have a different flavor icing.
Sure does.
I don't quite get that. On the one hand, it seems like you're saying, no, the birth name is always the great big foundation. You can't get away from it. And on the other hand, you seem to be saying, well, if you optimize your name, you can get away from it.
Well, I'm not saying get away from it. You can actually resolve the issues which are in the birth chart.
Yeah.
Basically, an optimal name here, all these names help resolve your issues to a greater or lesser degree. That's what I'm saying.
Got it.
But this is still creating your reality. Okay. But if you resolve enough of these issues, okay, and you have an optimal overlay name, then you can create a different sort of life altogether. But you have to work through enough of these issues first. Okay. So there's a stage of cleaning it out. And so when the ego is clear enough, not completely clear, but clear enough, then a lot of the positive qualities you have in the over optimal name really come online. I mean, I can show you with my one. Hang on, just get the cursor here. Here it is. So when I first got this name, I was very much looking at my darkness. For many years, my dark shadow here. And I was still shy. I was still hiding from people. Okay, I wasn't trusting in the flow. But so this name really helped me burn through this, the 7, the 8, 17, 8, and the 8. Helped me really feel my way through layers and layers of the trauma of that disempowerment. And as I just started to come into more power, started feeling more worthy. This 7 was starting to bring me out of hiding. Okay. And then as I got clearer, it started drawing lots of interesting opportunities to me. And the first opportunity was writing the book, Your Subcontract Decoded, where I just happened to attract all the right people. And it was sort of like this, I was here by myself doing my own thing for a very long time, and suddenly I had a book consultant who I'd actually been to. I'd listened to a workshop on becoming an author. She was one of the speakers there. Actually, it was the guy who set up the workshop I first connected to, and then I got to the book consultant, and she introduced me to my publisher, who said rang me in 3 days, said I want to publish this book. And then I met all sorts of other media people, and the whole thing just happened because I was ready. I was ready to do this, and it all just unfolded. Then I went to America, went on Gaia, went on all these other TV shows, tons of radio shows, and before you knew it was #1 on Amazon in America on its category. It's because I was ready, I was worthy enough, and the 7 just networked me out there. It just all sort of happened. It was like falling out of bed. It was just like one door would open, then the next one, then the next one. That's what happens when you have the right name at the right time. But I had to be empowered enough and ready for that. So it's sort of like a cooking phase, and then the good stuff happens if you work through enough issues.
Thank you. Good. Yep.
Does that help?
Yeah, that helps. Good.
Okay. Right. Jesse, you got any questions? No. You have to unmute yourself if you got any questions. Bottom left. Okay, not at the moment. Okay, so name optimization is a journey of discovery. It's where your client's here, and the soul usually has a couple of different names it can put in place. And your journey is, your job really is to flow on the optimal smooth pathway to get to that name. And I teach you how to follow these pathways, because if you go on a tangent, it gets very difficult and you can't find anything which is useful. So that's why we do name optimization live in the workshop. We teach you how to follow the energetic pathways the soul has put in place to get them to the right name that will help them really manifest their life the way it is. I mean, I always look and wonder at how this works, and that first the soul can find you as a practitioner, and then it knows that you'll train in level 2 some stage, and then it gets its name optimized, and then your whole life is unleashed. So it's like, it's sort of, you know, we're in place as soul contract readers to help people really awaken at the right time. You know, it's all good, right timing. So we talk about how to flow through these channels to get to these right names. It's one of the best things to do, to find someone's optimal name, to see their look on their face because they know it's right. They're feeling like, oh my God, that's me. I remember this now. I remember why I'm here. It's quite amazing what happens.
Nicholas, in name optimization, do you try to keep it as little change as possible? I notice a lot of your numbers are the same, but in different spots.
It depends on the person. Some people go for full radical name change. Yeah. Some just change the middle name. Some may change the spelling of a first name. It depends on the individual. But we talk all about that. It depends on how much they can handle.
I noticed that you said the mother, the partner, and the individual. Why not the father?
Well, that was just a demo. You could have all sorts of people in there. You could have
I see. Okay.
All members of your family, mentors, kids, whoever's there. Right. It's the significant people in your life who have the biggest impact. Mm-hmm. Okay. Other things we do. What else do we do here? We do baby naming to give them the best possible start and help them avoid the particularly nasty karmic numbers like 9s and stuff like that. We did name one of the practitioners' baby who was a newborn the other year. The whole class did it, actually. Well, it was an afternoon basically naming this baby to give it the best chance. And she'd held off from naming it for about 6 weeks so she could come on to class, and we did it on the class. That was fun.
So I have a question about that, because doesn't that sort of override what the soul chose for the baby? And do you want to be doing that?
No, we're not overriding. We're just aligning to what the soul wanted in the first place. We're connecting with what the soul wanted. You see, because the soul knew this was going to happen. You see.
Okay.
So we're just basically going through the discovery process, like in name optimization, to get to the right name for the soul that he or she already has, because the unconsciousness of the parents and the family can lead to the name being not quite right sometimes. So it's more about cutting out all the stuff which is going to make life harder.
Did you start with a name that they had in mind and change it, or?
You start with what the parents have in mind, but usually there's 2 or 3 names. It's a bit fuzzy around the edges, but you help them get focused and you show them the implications of the different names.
Often people just stick a middle name in there because it's Uncle so-and-so's name, because we have no idea what to put in there.
Yeah, well, the soul would have chosen that, but this is a more conscious way of doing it, and you can help them create a more harmonious life, like the flow of the soul, and you look at the family dynamics, because every soul in a family has a specific place in the family, so you can show them where that place is, and you can design this baby's name or align to it, so it fits in as optimally as possible, and there's minimal clashes with everyone else, you see. Okay. We talk about conscious parenting using this, and we talk about how to raise the new children based on their contract. So we get away from generic parenting models to depending on what does this child need. I've had 16 years learning how to do that with my teenager, and he's turned out pretty good so far because we've known how he worked from the beginning. So rather than trying to get him to do things which aren't a fit for the way his contract is built.
So an the instruction manual for babies does exist.
It does. If you know the contract from the beginning, you can help a parent, you can show a parent what they need to do. And if they've got that far in finding their kid's contract out, they usually put it into action and it works, you see. So it sort of reduces the amount of trial and error parenting, but gets to, obviously there's still going to be some component of it, okay? So you get a more balanced child who trusts you more and knows how you work because they know that you know how they tick, all right? Help build confidence in your intuition and channel. I've already talked about the second major transmission for the awakening of the work. Let's have a look. And this is experiential, just like level 1, and you'll be giving readings to each other. And the aim again, because of the transmission process, is that you can deliver the readings pretty soon after the workshop. And you need to study and practice. Okay. Let's have a look. So next course, 22nd to 25th of July, 1 to 8:30 UK time. Eastern time is 8 AM to 3:30. Pacific is 5 AM to 12:30. Okay, and we've got 1 or 2 New Zealand practitioners, 2 to 9:30 AM. Some people do get up for that. Australian practitioners 11 PM to 6:30 AM. So deposit is £124 and $161. That seems to change by the day, and the full exchange is £508 or 660 US. So yeah, if you want to register, just selfcontractreadingtraining.com, click on level 2. At the moment, I've decided to run only 1 level 2 a year because I need to build up enough numbers so we have enough people in the groups. So the next one will be 2018 sometime, probably the first half of the year. That's as far as I've got. Any questions, ladies? Especially Jessie, do you have any questions if you're able to talk? I meet you, Jessie.
You love him with all of your heart, just like we do. All of your heart.
Okay. Oh, you gotta mute yourself, Jessie, if you've got any questions. So, Sandra and Sarah, any questions on anything we've talked about?
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you pick a person that that you're going to have a sample of the change of the name, do you already have it picked, or can we put people forward, or?
Well, it's usually one of the practitioners in the class. We optimize their name live.
Oh, okay. Oh,
okay, because you got to have the person there to actually do it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. I've got one of the practitioners ready. She asked me.
Oh, okay.
I said to her, we can do it in the class.
Go for it, Sharon.
But you never know. We might have time to do more than one.
I would love to change something.
So don't hold back if you're feeling an urge.
I love change, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Any other ones? Yeah. Well, if for anyone who's coming on the course, if you're thinking of optimizing your name, what you need to do is get clear from your overlay reading. What are your life goals? Spiritual, personal, but they're all pretty much the same for people like us. And then you basically, in meditation, say to the universe, high consciousness, this is what I want to achieve, God, or high consciousness. Give me some names which are going to help me get there. Okay? And you tune into that. Then they may come to you during the meditation. You may start seeing them. Names popping out from all sorts of things on the screen or on the back of a truck or whatever. Write those down and see how you feel about them. And see, do you like your current first name? If you don't, then it could be time to change that. Do you like your surname or married name, whatever it is. If you like it, keep it. If you don't, well, it could be time for another one. Might be time for a previous one. And it's always good to have at least 3 names, a middle name as well, because then there's a lot more material to work with. Because basically you need a good range of vowels you can change to tweak the name. Okay. There's a couple of ways of doing name optimization, but I do it through client input, then attuning to what's right. And sometimes they just pop in my head in the middle of a session. I'm thinking, let's try this, and it works. But I show you how to. This is a process you go through. But if any of you guys watching this want to have a go at that, you need to provide the raw material. You say, Nicholas, this is the top 6 names I like the sound of, and they could all be good middle ones. And here's 2 which could be new first names. So I teach you how to basically play with the combinations in a logical manner so you don't miss anything, and how to tease out the really good names, and how to look at the criteria your client sent you, and how to make sure that they are met with the numbers you have in a name. So basically, it's sort of, I don't know, life to order, literally. If you can actually do this actually works. It's extremely powerful. So it's a bit of an art form, but you've got this far with level 1. You're on your intuitive channel. It's just about taking that to another level, really, and having a clear structure around it.
I started signing my middle name, and it felt really funny right here.
Good funny or not good funny?
Oh, good funny. I used to dislike that name a lot. In fact, I'm wondering if I disliked that name so much that it stayed in my field. It wasn't supposed to be my name. It's like somebody lied to me. I guess that was the plan.
Well, we talk all about that sort of stuff. There are no accidents in the way names turn up.
Yes, I realize that.
It can trigger certain seeds, or some people look at their birth certificate and realize, oh, there's Marsha at the front. I don't remember having Marsha. And you realize suddenly what you thought was your first name was actually your middle name. Mm-hmm. So all sorts of data comes in, or your bum says, I wanted to call you Michelle actually, but your father objected, so we call you Georgina instead. And you go and fiddle with Michelle, find out that is part of the optimal name. So all the keys, we talk about how to find all the hidden keys to this when we do this. So it's a bit of an adventure, but it's fun because it helps the embodiment and expression of someone's divinity, takes their life to another level. Any other questions? Jesse, do you have any questions, or are you a bit tied up with the kids? Sounds like you're a bit tied up with the kids. Yeah. All right, I'm going to unshare the screen here. Stop sharing. Sounds like that's it. Is it? Are we done?
It's good for me.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Unless Jesse has any questions, we will stop here. I will send the video out later.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Very helpful.
Okay. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.